Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Hex Haven Podcast, hosted by your favorite Midwest mystics, Sharon and Heather.
Hi, everybody. I hope you all made it through the fall spring that we just experienced.
Oh, gosh, it was such a bummer.
It was one day of 70 degrees.
I know. Oh, gosh, it just makes me want a vacation.
I know.
I
actually, took a bike ride that day. That was the first physical activity I've done all winter.
Oh, nice.
So that was fun.
Yeah. I definitely opened my windows.
Yeah.
Because, this time of year, it's like your house just feels stagnant no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a real interesting topic for us today.
Okay. What are we getting into?
So I am going to talk about Lilly Dale.
All right.
So
we've been talking about doing this one.
We've been talking about doing this one for a really long time. And I actually ended up ordering a book because there's not that much information out there. You know, there's certain things on the Lilly Dale site, the general population and stuff, but there wasn't anything detailed.
Okay.
And I will tell our listeners, this is real heavy on the historical content.
Which I love.
Which I do too. You know, something else I love about historical stuff is the language they use, right?
Yes.
Because there's some words that I came across where I was like, that is a delightful word that we just don't use anymore.
I'm so excited.
So I can't wait to expose you to those. But yeah, so I ended up buying a book called Spiritualism's Place because I had heard a podcast where one of the ladies being interviewed is one of the authors of the book.
Okay.
And they were granted access to the archives at Lilly Dale. We had spoken about this before.
Yeah, in Morris Pratt, right? I think we talked about it in there.
Yeah, we probably covered it a little bit in the Morris Pratt episode. So I wanted to actually get the book, which is really good. And there's going to be chapters in this book that I don't even talk about because I just wanted to stick to this.
Okay.
But I think there's more to come out of that book.
All right. That's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really enjoyable. It wasn't like your standard history book.
Right.
It was women talking about their life and experiences while digging up history.
Okay. And it's called Spiritualism's Place?
Spiritualism's Place.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So this book was written by 4 historians, Avery Earls, Sarah Hanley Cousins, Marissa Rhodes, and Elizabeth Garner Mazurek.
Okay.
Each author brings distinct scholarly expertise and personal experience to the study of Lilly Dale. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one of the authors because I think that's what made the book so personal.
Yeah.
You kind of knew about each one's experience.
Yeah.
Avery Earls is a historian specializing in Ireland, gender, and sexuality.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And she is the one that I heard being interviewed on the podcast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She wrote the introduction, Messages at the Stump, where she introduces the other authors and describes the arrival to Lilly Dale as the group, right?
Okay.
Earls also authored Chapter 2, Little Victorian Cottages. She contributed to Chapter 3 on the Fox Cottage.
Ooh, we know them girls.
Uh-huh. And wrote the epilogue, The Lilly Dale Museum.
Okay.
In the epilogue, she reflects on the relationship the authors developed with the museum's caretaker and Lilly Dale historian Ron Nagy. Because at first he was very guarded with them and didn't know what they were up to, didn't know how they were going to use the information that they were gathering. But then they really just became friends.
Right.
You know?
Because I think we talked about briefly in Morris Pratt that, Lilly Dale really is, kind of secret society-ish.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So Marissa C. Rhodes is a historian who studies and teaches radical religions.
Radical religions. I like that.
I know. Free love and temperance as central elements of feminist thought.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Her personal background uniquely positions her to write about temperance and Lilly Dale's establishment as a dry town.
A dry town, so there's no booze.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And I don't really talk that much about this.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we could explore in another episode.
Yeah.
So, a born-again Christian turned agnostic and married to a committed teetotaler.
What is a teetotaler?
So this is what I was talking about. Like, it's delightful
Yeah.
to hear, like, old terms and stuff like this. So, a teetotaler is a person who completely abstains from consuming alcohol.
Oh, so he's, what's the word?
Teetotaler.
Teetotaler, yeah. I was going to say abstinence, but it's not. I mean, I guess it technically is abstinence.
Yeah,
it's
because
just
you're choosing
abstinence
not
from
to do it.
booze instead of sex, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Rhodes authored Chapter 5, The Maplewood Hotel. Sarah Hanley Cousins is a native to northern New York who grew up in a family that placed great importance on the connection between heritage and place. While her historical expertise is invaluable, her lived experience with grief and her intimate knowledge of spiritualist practice also inform her writing. She authored Chapter 1, Welcome to Lilly Dale, and Chapter 6, The Indian Village, which explores the burned over district and the relationship between Lilly Dale and the Native American culture.
Wow.
Which is something else I'm not going to talk about because I feel like it could be saved for another episode.
I've been wanting to dive into some Native American culture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could save it for that.
And I will briefly talk about later what the burned over district refers to.
Okay.
And then the last author, Elizabeth Garner Mazurek, a native Texan who relocated to Buffalo as an adult, has a lifelong interest in cults and embraces her roles as the group's self-described spooky historian.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Her expertise in American women's history and her research on child death and women's political activism made her especially well suited to write Chapter 4 on the women's rights movement, The Auditorium.
Awesome.
Yes.
This sounds like a book I want to read.
You can borrow it for sure.
Okay.
It's a good book. When it talks about like the prominent people that spoke in this auditorium, it's wild.
That's
like,
so interesting.
Yeah, because you didn't realize, like Harriet Tubman spoke in that auditorium.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't realize that. Like,
right.
nowhere else in history have we ever seen that or heard about that, right?
No.
Yeah. This episode will focus really on the history of Lilly Dale. I hope to get into the Fox sisters, but if it gets too long, we're going to do a second episode of the Fox sisters. Because,
okay.
you know, I'm sure that we'll be chit-chatting. We
Yeah.
both have a cocktail. This may take a little longer than expected.
Lilly Dale may be dry, but this studio sure isn't.
This studio is not dry. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
So first I'm going to talk about the spiritual community of Lilly Dale. And then I'll dive a little bit more into the history of it.
Okay.
Lilly Dale is a hamlet located in the town of Pomfret.
A hamlet.
Yes.
I love that.
On the east side of Cassadaga Lake in northwestern New York.
Okay.
You might be wondering what a hamlet is.
Yes.
Many people first think of Hamlet like a Shakespeare play, right?
Yeah.
But in geographic terms, a hamlet is simply a small human settlement that is smaller than a town or village.
Okay.
And I'm like, a hamlet though.
That is so cute.
Like poetic.
Love it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Most of Lilly Dale was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2022.
So really
recently. Very recently.
4 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lilly Dale was incorporated in 1879 as a Cassadaga Lake Free Association, serving as a camp and gathering place for spiritualists and free thinkers.
And what year was that?
In 1879.
1879. That's a long time ago. That's
Yeah.
earlier than I would have thought.
In 1903, it was renamed the City of Light, and in 1906, it became the Lilly Dale Assembly.
Okay.
From its founding, Lilly Dale's mission has been to advance the science, philosophy, and religion of spiritualism.
Okay.
Lilly Dale is also home to the headquarters of the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, the NSAC, which we talked a lot about in Morris Pratt, which was founded in 1893. The organization's first president, Harrison D. Barrett, was a resident of Lilly Dale.
Okay.
The year-round population of Lilly Dale is estimated to be fewer than 300 people.
Wow.
Yes.
Why did I think it was so much bigger?
It is not. With only 169 leasable locations. And I thought that terminology...
Leasable locations?
Yeah. I was like, why would they word it leasable? And here's what it means. This means that residents own or lease their homes, but they do not own the land beneath them.
Okay, so it's like leasing a car. It's the same thing, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Purchasing a home in Lilly Dale is not a typical real estate transaction. All purchases require approval from the Lilly Dale Assembly, and mortgages cannot be obtained to purchase Lilly Dale property.
So
you can own your house, but you can't own the land that it's on.
Oh, okay. Which, I'm sorry, but that would piss me off. But for me, the goal is to own land, so you can do whatever you want on it.
It wouldn't be something that you and I would be interested in. And, they have to pay, taxes and, almost like rent fees for the land.
I was going to say, if I don't own the land, I don't want to pay for snow removal. I don't want to pay for mowing the grass. I don't want to pay for the sidewalk. If I don't own any of that, why would I pay for that?
Right, but I think they all pay taxes.
Right.
And then it goes to one big pot where that's all taken care of. Well, it's not even really like a city.
Or the hamlet.
It's like a little village almost.
Right.
So, that's small, 300 people.
That is very small.
So they're paying technically taxes, but that's going to maintaining, right?
Yeah.
There are also specific homeowner rules. Residents must be members in good standing of the Lilly Dale Assembly, and individuals may own no more than 2 leaseholds at one time.
So you can only have a lease on 2 buildings.
Yes. If someone inherits a 3rd leasehold, they must put one of them up for sale within 30 days.
Wow. Which I assume would occur if, you get, if someone dies and you're, left a property or something like that.
I don't want to assume, but I imagine these people that have lived there, a majority of their life.
Right. I would assume that, too.
So they're leaving their house, maybe not to their niece and nephew that they don't really see. They're leaving it to someone within that community.
Right.
I imagine it's the same people.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, too, how crazy it is. You think of New York, jam-packed... You think of New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Jam-packed streets with buildings a mile high.
Right, billboards and chaos.
But if there's only 300 people, it's probably, a little,
And it's surrounded by woods.
Right. I was going to say, so it's, in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I really never considered for, New York.
Right, yeah. But New York has a lot of, wooded wilderness areas.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize. I don't know why, because I should have. Most of the north is woods. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Lilly Dale Assembly is an international membership organization and residential community made up of individuals who practice the faith of spiritualism. Spiritualism is an active faith guided by a set of principles and practiced through prayer, meditation, healing, and mediumship. Each year, tens of thousands of visitors come to Lilly Dale for classes, workshops, public church services, and mediumship demonstrations, lectures, and private appointments with mediums. Lilly Dale is a seasonal destination open to the public from mid-June through Labor Day. During off-season, visitors are still welcome, but it's by appointment only.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Lilly Dale offers accommodations at the Lyolin Hotel, the Maplewood Hotel, various guest houses, and a campground. There are currently 40 mediums listed on the Lilly Dale website.
Wow. And
each has a link to their personal website, allowing visitors to find a medium that best suits their needs.
That's interesting, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like a pick and choose.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so you can find which one you like and book an appointment. Because it was originally set up as like a summer camp, as like a summer retreat, and that's why it still just keeps summer hours.
Yeah,
I really think we should go this summer.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be great? Just for
like
a weekend.
Right. I've never been to New York. Cross that one off the bucket list.
I have been to Rochester, New York, but I would do it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Something we should consider.
Yeah. Okay.
Life is short.
It is. And we haven't planned our summer trip yet this year.
No.
So.
Mm-mm. All right, so now I'm going to dig into the history with lots of dates, lots of historical data. So brace yourself, people. It's coming.
I'm ready.
The central principle at Lilly Dale is the doctrine of continuous life, or the belief that the existence and personality of the dead continues after the change called death.
Right.
Intentional communities, although somewhat unusual today, were much more common in the 19th century. Upstate New York, still influenced by the famed religious revival circuit known as the Burned Over District, had become a hotbed of religious experimentation.
Okay, so is this where we're going to learn about the Burned Over District?
No.
No?
I'm just going to talk about it again. I'm just going to mention it. This history is the Burned Over District.
Okay.
Because what it's referring to is like a religion came in, everybody was all on board, then something happened and it went out. And then a new religion came in, everybody was on board, and then it fizzled out. And then a new religion, so then that's why they started calling it the Burned Over District.
Okay.
Because there were so many religions coming in and out of there.
Okay.
Yeah. Lilly Dale was not exactly carved out of virgin wilderness. So a lot of things that you'll read is like they carved Lilly Dale out of these virgin woods and made it what it is. And that's not true.
Okay.
The land was not remote or newly discovered. It had belonged to a local farmer and spiritualist named Willard Alden.
Okay.
He had allowed spiritualists from the surrounding county to use it for their summertime gatherings.
That's where the summer camp came in.
Mm-hmm. More important than such details, however, is the phrase virgin wilderness, which suggested a new frontier untouched by human hands. But it was farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Western New York was a hub of religious revivalism during the 19th century and also home to the transportation and marketplace revolution of the era. It was a religion where people founded new religions and built communities based on shared beliefs and ideas. In the sense, Lilly Dale fits right in.
Yeah.
During the 17th and 18th century, the region had originally been dominated by what was arguably the most powerful Native American alliance of the era.
Okay.
The Haudenosaunee.
I wonder if that's... I could ask Google real quick, but just like they would refer to them as the Shawnee.
Oh, it might be, but they're called Haudenosaunee.
Right, maybe that's the full name. Let me just co-pilot.
So the 5 original tribes of the Haudenosaunee form the core of the Iroquois Confederacy.
Okay.
The Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, later joined by the Tuscarora to form the Six Nations.
Okay.
That was a lot to say.
Mouthful.
I definitely do not have any more of those words in the rest of my writing.
Okay.
So I was like, those are hard to pronounce.
They are.
I gave it my best. I did some Google research on how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's what we got. Cracks within the Iroquois Confederacy became fractures during the American Revolution, which the American Revolution was from 1775 to 1783.
Mm-hmm.
The war posed a serious dilemma for the Six Nations, who maintained important trade relations with both the British and the American colonists. So ultimately, each nation chose their own alliance. Like,
Right.
Mohawk went this way,
Yep.
Oneida went this way.
I remember hearing that from a lot of like history. The PBS just recently released a really good docuseries on the American Revolution.
Okay.
And so yeah, it talks about like some of the Native Americans fought on the side of the Americans, and then some of them fought on the side of the British, obviously. So it
Sure.
was kind of like breaking down which ones went where.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In 1779, George Washington tasked Generals John Sullivan and James Clinton with destroying the settlements of the Indians.
Yep.
It was a campaign that began in central New York and aimed to end a British-held Fort Niagara. Sullivan, Clinton, and their troops burned villages, destroyed crops, and forced the Native Americans into refuge status. The United States government soon seized most of the Iroquois homeland in upstate New York, and what land remained to them was gradually taken by Governor George Clinton, which, fuck these.
Yeah, so this is really when the problems began to start, I think, with the Native Americans and us is they were helping us and we just kept pushing them and pushing them further inland.
Now we want your land, you need to go west now.
Yes, and so it just kind of was the beginning sparks of the atrocious atrocities that we carried out upon their people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So Governor George Clinton encouraged them to sell property to settlers or the state through the end of the 18th century.
Mm-hmm.
Even though former Indian territory was prime farmland, settlement by white Americans was slow. The state had no major east-west rivers to facilitate travel, making the journey from populated eastern New York to the farmland of central or western New York arduous.
Mm-hmm.
Most population growth remained slow for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
The state was wide, and there was no easy route across it except through dirt traveled by literal, like, horsepower.
Horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like there was no
Yeah.
Ford
No
trucks
definitely
taking you
had
from one
no
place to
cars
another.
yet,
Yeah.
for sure. Yep. Everything changed with the canal. Begun in 1817, the ditch that would become known as the Erie Canal radically transformed upstate New York.
Okay.
Work on the canal officially began on July 4th, 1817 in Rome, New York, with laborers digging largely by hand. Isn't that
Wow.
fucking crazy?
That is crazy.
I mean, really though, it's not like they had excavators or even like a fucking shovel.
Yeah.
They may have had like a spade or something.
they had shovels, but they definitely weren't up to par with like today's shovels. That's
No,
for sure.
they weren't shovels that were
And they-
aerodynamic for your back.
I was just saying, it's not like you could like have them mass produced either. Like it
No.
took probably a blacksmith, I would
Yeah,
think.
or
like,
they stole them from the
hours.
fucking Indians.
Right, yeah. To like craft one of those things. That's
Right.
insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In 1825, the completed canal opened with an extravagant celebration. Cannons placed along the canal's entire length fired in sequence from Buffalo to the Atlantic Ocean and back again.
Wow.
So they're shooting off cannons.
Yeah.
Like, in the ocean. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, no regard for the future of America.
Oh, hell no.
Let's just
especially not at
blast
that point.
some fucking cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Just 1 year later, in 1826, about 7,000 boats traveled the canal.
Wow.
The annual tolls brought in more than 5 times the interest owed on the state's canal-related debts.
That's awesome.
I know. The state's economy boomed. Buffalo expanded from 2,600 residents in 1824 to 42,000 by 1850.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then Rochester, once a small but industrious village, it had 1,600 people in 1821 and had 20,000 within the next decade.
That is insane.
All because of this canal.
Right.
Made their land more accessible.
Wow.
According to historian Peter Bernstein, at least 10 new towns suddenly appeared between Syracuse and Buffalo, many with the word port in their names, several of which still exist today, which would make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Within a few decades, the canal made it possible for products from the Midwest to travel easily to New York City, helping spur the growth of Great Lakes cities like Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago.
Yeah, because like the American Revolution is when shit started getting real crazy over on the coast. That's when people started going further inland because they had to get away from the conflict.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. The New
That's
England,
awesome, though.
yeah,
They were able to then like because of that it like opens up so many doors for trade and like your economy.
Oh, it opens doors for a lot of things. You'll see.
Yeah. Oh shit.
You know I love that juicy shit.
Yeah.
The more scandal, the better.
Yes,
That's how
let's get the tea.
Love the tea. The New England immigrants who settled in Western New York were the children of turbulent religious culture. The old Congregational Church of the Puritan founders had been shaken by the First Great Awakening in the mid-18th century, a wave of avid religious revival. So you have to remember, they're all coming for England, where it's all like the king's religion.
Yeah, it's
right?
either Catholic or Protestant.
Right.
That's all you get.
So now that they've come to this new America,
Right.
the New England states, they're all like kind of like, well, we don't really have to listen to these people anymore. Let's kind of go with our own thing.
It goes back to even in the American Revolution. I can't remember who said it, but like it's like a famous saying where somebody famous from the Redcoats said, America is like England's child who got a little taste of freedom over there and now doesn't want to listen to dad anymore.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
From this point on, we're going to be introduced to a lot of different religions that are coming through. A new group known as the New Light emphasized personal conversion and intense emotional spiritual experiences. Often taking place at outdoor revival meetings, these rustic gatherings, called camp meetings, became an important religious tradition that continued through the 19th century and would eventually influence the founders of Lilly Dale.
Okay. They're called the New Lights?
They're called the New Lights. Although the First Great Awakening lost some intensity after the mid-1700s, revivals continued through the Revolutionary era, especially in places such as Vermont. Western New Yorkers often switched religious loyalties quickly. When a new preacher arrived from the East, settlers might flock to hear them, only to move on again when another compelling camp meeting appeared. Like I said, like something would come in, like a hot cake, and everybody'd be like, oh, hallelujah, on board.
Right.
And then something would happen, and...
Man, I gotta say, I feel like that kind of phenomena even goes further back to, like, the whole Salem witch trials thing.
Sure.
Like, you gotta think that all really... I mean, it occurred because some teenagers were bored, is what it comes down to, but... was all of these other preachers coming and imparting their religious speakings on the community.
Interpreting the writings however they wanted to interpret them. Absolutely. Yep. While revivalism is often associated with the Second Great Awakening beginning in the 1820s, New York actually experiences small but nearly continuous revivals for decades beforehand. This unique religious culture made the region fertile ground for radical new faiths.
Mm-hmm.
One example was the Shaker movement.
Okay.
Founded by Mother Ann Lee, who immigrated to America in 1774. I want to say, was it Aleister Crowley's dad that was a Shaker?
I can't remember where it came from, but I know for a fact we have spoken
We have
about
talked
the
about
Shaker
someone
movement.
having, like, Shaker background. Like, someone's family was Shakers, yeah.
Wait, it's the Shakers aren't the Quakers.
No.
Okay. Because I thought, we've
They
talked
are
about
different.
them too.
We talked about them
Yeah.
too. Maybe that's what it was. Aleister Crowley's dad was a Quaker. That's what I think it was.
Could be it, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so just as Jesus Christ represented God's male embodiment, Shakers believed Mother Ann represented God's female manifestation.
Wow.
The Shakers believed in equality between the sexes and followed strict codes of celibacy, hard work, and perfectionism.
Well, we know why the Shaker movement is around today, don't we? Can't have those fucking women thinking they're the same as us, god damn it.
Well, and I was thinking more on the lines of the celibacy.
Okay.
That's why the movement's not around anymore.
I was thinking that they threw all of the Shakers into the insane asylums because God forbid that they think that women have a place in spirituality.
Which, when we eventually talk about the feminism within Lilly Dale, which I don't talk about this episode, but I think someday we will.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Despite the rule of celibacy, the Shaker faith persisted for generations.
Yeah.
At the time that this book was written, which it was written in 2024, there were only 2 Shakers that were still alive.
Wow.
2 recorded Shakers. Can you believe that?
I mean, you are right, though. I'm talking shit about, like, the whole women in the faith portion, or women leaders.
For sure.
In the
leaders,
faith.
yeah.
But really, like, yeah, the celibacy would definitely lead to your religion dying out eventually.
Yeah, because if you're not producing more children or more people that are going to practice this faith.
Right.
Yeah. And most people, the faith you are in is the one you are born into.
Yes, and you raise your children in that. I mean,
you think
today,
she would have been like, everybody keep fucking like rabbits, have those kids.
Yeah, right. Like it's not necessarily like that today. I mean, for many people, it probably is.
Yeah.
But I think it's much more accepted now to be like, dude, form your own belief.
It is, but there's definitely families out there that go to church every Sunday,
there are,
and their kids grow up going to church every Sunday.
I was going to say there are certain religions where it is expected that you pass it to your children.
Right.
So there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 2 Shakers left.
So there's 2 Shakers left.
Crazy.
So another movement emerged in 1788 with the followers of the Public Universal Friend.
Followers of the Public Universal Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they used to refer to God as? The Public Universal Friend?
No.
Okay.
So, the Public Universal Friend is a prophet and spiritual leader whose supporters believed embodied the spirit of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
The friend had been born Jemima Wilkinson.
Aunt Jemima?
I know, it's the first thing I thought of too. Yeah, Jemima Wilkinson.
So she is a female?
She's a female. Mm-hmm.
Thought to be a prophet then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. After falling severely ill, Wilkinson unexpectedly recovered and announced that Jemima had died and that a new spirit called Public Universal Friend had taken over the body.
What?
Yes.
This sounds like some Bertha shit.
It does! Crazy as fucking Bertha!
Yeah, from Prophecy and
And I'm thinking,
Paranoia.
like, why wouldn't the spirit, like, take over and be like Charles? Or even just friend? Why
My name's
public, universal friend?
Right.
Like, how bizarre.
That is very bizarre. It seems like a very non-discriminatory way to refer to God. Like, it really does.
Yeah, the public's universal friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that when I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of... I could see that being a reason why she chose that name.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe,
Yeah, I do now. I guess it is better than Charles. Like, fine.
Yeah,
Fine,
I like
Jemima.
Charles. I like Charles better.
So the Friends followers established the township of Jerusalem in western New York. The community held unconventional views on gender. Many women were heads of households.
Matriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
And a notable number of unmarried men lived with the Friend or in households led by women.
Was that her rent boys?
I think it was. That's how I kind of understood it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Because you see, in polygamous religions, men have, 20 different wives. Shit.
Right.
You go, Jemima.
Yeah.
Fucking A. I don't know if I would have the energy for that
Hell
many men.
no. I can tell you now that I would not.
No. And I thought this to be very interesting. Assigned female at birth, the Friend later identified as genderless.
Wow. The first non-binary.
Yes. Yep. And I'm like, holy shit.
That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That might be something worth investigating a little
Yeah.
more. But yeah, someone identified as the first non-binary person, right?
Right. This is still the 1700s, right?
This is 1788.
How fucking progressive.
17 or maybe the early 1800s. Maybe it's progressed into.
Yeah.
But yeah, extremely progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they were like, she's a demon.
Oh gosh,
Burn her
I
at
know.
the stake.
I can only imagine.
Like, how fucking cool, though.
Yeah.
Maybe Jemima felt like a man.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, it's not like these fucking... this is a new thing.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. It's just newly in the public eye. That's
Sure,
that's the only thing that... But people forever have had homosexuality and transgender is not a new
Absolutely.
thing for people to experience, for sure.
Yep. Ultimately, the community collapsed. Internal disputes fractured the society and accelerated its decline. Particularly resentment among men regarding the Friends' landholding.
Of course, because...
So no woman
Can't
should
be
be able
owning
to own some
property.
land. Hell no. Fucking A. No. After the Friends' death in 1819, the settlement gradually dwindled and disappeared entirely by the eve of the Civil War. So now the Civil War was from 1861 to 1865.
Mm-hmm.
So most Western New Yorkers in the early 19th century were not drawn to such radical sects. Many were nominally Protestant
Yeah.
and attended church occasionally, but they often lacked formal membership in like any particular like denomination.
You know, I guess I didn't realize that at America's founding more of the Christian population was Protestant than Catholic. It wasn't until after the American Revolution that the Catholic Church came to America. So it was mostly Protestant immigrants coming over during, like, when it was the colonies, you know? I guess I never realized that.
Right.
They were running away from Catholicism.
Yeah, absolutely. After the Erie Canal opened, travelers and boatmen crowded into taverns and engaged in decidedly ungenteel behavior. Combined with low church membership and a drifting population of hard-working laborers, Outsiders increasingly viewed the region as an uncivilized frontier in desperate need of salvation.
Do you know what they would call it today? A woke nation. Or something like that.
Yeah. So this perception fueled ministry campaigns, particularly by the American Home Missionary Society, which sent funding and church planters to the region. You know what church planters are?
Are they like missionaries?
Yep.
Yep.
They're missionary leaders who establish new Christian organizations.
Yep.
So they're out scouting, you know. The result was...
We need to bring Jesus back to that region.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Yep. Hell yeah. And we're about to get on Jesus' choo-choo chain right here. The result was an overabundance of churches and preachers and communities too small to support them. Ministries desperate to keep congregations afloat often relied on sectarian divisions and charismatic preaching. So this is where all the different sects of religion start to break down, because this guy is going to interpret it a little bit different to keep his followers.
Yeah.
And this guy's going to interpret this part, so they're going to become a different sect to keep his followers. One of the most influential revivalists of the Second Great Awakening was Charles Grandison Finney. On October 1825, during a personal spiritual crisis, Finney walked into the woods near Adams, New York, where he experienced a dramatic religious vision.
A dramatic religious vision, huh?
Yeah. He soon began studying for the Presbyterian ministry, and by 1824 was traveling through Jefferson County preaching conversion. Sponsored by a woman's missionary society based in Utica, Finney and his associate Daniel Nash spread revivalism throughout northern New York and the Mohawk Valley. Historian Whitney Cross estimated that about 3,000 people converted during this tour. Finley quickly became an evangelical celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say those are some fucking top-notch numbers for the 1800s.
3,000.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So in 1830s, Finney relocated to Rochester, where rapid industrial growth had created social turmoil. Dram shops, gambling dens, billiard halls, and canal traffic brought gamblers, pickpockets, prostitutes, confidence men, and traveling entertainers into the city. So first I want to talk about dram shops. I did not know what that was. So those are taverns, saloons, or pharmacies that sold liquor by the dram. And the dram is a unit of measure.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't know that.
I guess I did. I just didn't put it together.
Yeah. I've never heard of a unit of measure as dram.
Yeah. It's definitely like an old-timey, like, I feel like you see it a lot in, like, Westerns.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't watch too many Westerns.
yeah. My husband loves Westerns.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah.
And then a confidence man is a con man or swindler.
Okay.
Yep.
A confidence man?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a new one. Never heard of that.
I know. Finney took on the challenge of bringing Rochester to Christ.
Oh, goodness.
Citizens from every denomination flocked to hear him preach, captivated by his powerful voice and persuasive sermons. These revivals helped ignite the broader Second Great Awakening as preachers crisscrossed New York State spreading the message. The intense revival activity along the Erie Canal inspired the nickname the Burned Over District.
Okay.
Suggesting the region had been spiritually scorched by the fires of religious fervor.
Okay. That makes sense.
Another example of radical religion belief in the Burned Over District was Millerism.
Millerism. I've never heard of that one.
Me either. Millerism sparked by the preaching of William Miller. Miller converted during a revival in 1816 and soon became obsessed with closely reading and interpreting the Bible. After years of independent analysis, he concluded that Scripture indicated Jesus would return, not at some unknown point in the distant future, but very soon. The exact date was October 22nd, 1844.
This was the first apocalypse, huh?
Yes. And when are these motherfuckers going to learn?
Never.
That you can't give an exact date.
No.
That is the end of your cult.
Yeah.
I mean, religion.
Yeah.
On the eve of Christ's return, many Millerites closed their business, posted signs announcing that they were shut in honor of the King of Kings.
This sounds like, again, with the Prophecy and Paranoia episode with the cult, where the cult followers were like not paying their car payments, not paying their house payments.
Yeah, because they were, absolutely. Why would they need
broken
to?
appliances.
The world's going to end.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that.
Right.
Posting signs announcing that they were shut in honor of the King of Kings, who was expected to appear around the 23rd of October. Some of Miller's disciplines even advised followers to strip themselves of earthly possessions in preparation for the apocalypse.
Yep.
But the predicted date came and went with no second coming.
Oh, imagine that.
Imagine that. What a fucking shocker.
So they said, wait, we just got the date wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. I forgot about when we turn our clock back an hour.
Yeah. William Miller said, psych.
Miller received scathing criticism, and the Millerite movement splintered. While some believers remained faithful, most eventually abandoned the movement.
Yeah.
So even Millerism demonstrated that a significant number of people in the region were willing not only to listen to new prophets, even those with radical teachings, but to commit themselves wholeheartedly to such movements.
Yep.
Right? Those Millerites who remained devoted eventually founded new branches of Protestant Christianity, collectively known as Adventism, including the modern Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Okay.
So the 7 Day, one of my girlfriends grew up in the 7-day Adventist Church.
Okay.
And they do not drink alcohol. And they have a lot of other, like, very hard rules
strict
that you do
followings,
not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So another even more influential movement that emerged from that region was Mormonism.
Oh, okay.
The prophet fucking Joseph Smith.
Oh, this is the one with the hat, right? Like he looked into a hat and...
No, this is the tablets, the golden tablets.
Okay. Why am I thinking there's something with a hat where he was like...
Dude, I'm sure there's a religion somehow that fucking looked in a magic hat and pulled a bunny out.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I don't know.
It was like there was a prophet that was in the hat telling him the stuff
Holy
from the...
shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I could just be mixing sci-fi with religion.
Right.
Which does happen.
What have you been watching lately?
I don't know.
What have you been reading? Is probably the better question. Joseph Smith is the one that finds the golden tablets.
Okay.
So the prophet Joseph Smith was born in Vermont to a religious family and later resettled in a small village east of Rochester, New York. In the early 1820s, Smith reported experiencing a vision of God and Jesus in the woods, followed by several visitations from the heavenly being named Moroni. According to Smith, Moroni eventually revealed that sacred records containing important revelations from God were engraved on golden plates buried on a nearby hill. I'm so sorry to laugh, but if you ever get the chance to see the Broadway musical Book of Mormon.
I know.
It is so fucking fantastic.
We've talked about the Mormon religion specifically because of that.
Yes, and every time I see anything about Mormon religion, songs from that start like playing in my head.
Right.
Because there is a fucking great song about him going up the hill to collect these plates.
Okay.
This motherfucker.
Sing us a tune. Sing us a tune, Heather. You know you wanna.
I really want to play like a clip of it for you. But it's so great. But so then stories of buried treasure were common in the early 19th century America Of course. I mean, there was legends about, like, Spanish conquistadors and pirates, and hidden wealth circulated widely, and treasure-seeking expeditions were, like, super popular then, right? So, guided by faith, Smith later claimed to have uncovered a box containing the golden plates along with other sacred artifacts. So, I just want to take the time to point out that, sure, there was Spanish conquistadors, pirates, right? But they all needed to travel by a waterway.
Yeah.
So, if the canal wasn't built yet, how were they getting over there?
Correct.
Hiding magic tablets. Now, I don't know the exact geography. I mean, they could have fucking hauled it by horses.
They could have.
And decided we're going to hide this shit as far away from the ocean as we can.
I was going to say, it could be that they
docked.
Most and were like...
inconvenient place.
Right, like, how far away from here can we get? Because...
Let's walk 8 days' journey and then bury these tablets, and then the next time we come back, we'll know where to find them.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking craziness.
But I definitely could see it being, especially if they were, like, ignorant to the landscape of the land that they docked on, like...
Right.
I could see them being like, well, if we go far enough inland, nobody will ever find it.
Right.
You know, I guess I could see that.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. And then, you know...
But personally, I think a lot of the treasure lore and stories was made up specifically to keep legends going and keep, you know... People love a mystery.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It keeps people, like, interested and... like, something to focus on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Who knows?
His news, and another thing, so this Joseph Smith Mosley finds these golden tablets, and he writes down everything from these golden tablets, and then when everyone's like, hey, where are the tablets? He's like, well, I don't know where they went.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You didn't find any tablets.
Bitch, you lying.
You lying. You a lying, you lying. His new faith soon attracted both devoted followers and skeptical critics. As tensions with neighbors grew and opposition intensified, most members of the movement relocated to Ohio by the summer of 1831.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Mormonism is still a pretty prevalent religion, right?
In Utah.
Crazy.
Huge in Utah. I... probably think the majority of the state of Utah are Mormons.
Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Much of the revivalism of the Second Great Awakening was tied to the Protestant belief known as millennialism. The idea...
Oh, shit.
I know.
They're fucking with my generation way back then?
Way back then. The idea that human beings could help usher in the second coming of Christ and 1,000-year era of peace by eradicating sin and perfecting society. Inspired by revival preaching, many Christians began trying to reform society in preparation for this hope-for millennium. Mm-hmm. Concerned that the Erie Canal facilitated sinful behavior, reformers organized movements to curb vice. In 1823, for example, residents founded a Society for the Suppression of Vice. The citizens of Rochester and Utica created organizations dedicated to halting canal traffic on Sundays.
Because it's God's Day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't want you drinking alcohol. They don't want you rowing in your boat. They don't want you doing nothing.
Right.
Political reform movements also flourished. The Liberty Party, a minor political party connected to the American abolitionist movement, was founded in Warsaw, New York, and held its national convention in Buffalo in 1843. The same year, black abolitionists held the national convention for colored citizens in Buffalo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Two of the most famous formerly enslaved abolitionists, Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, eventually made their homes in Western New York.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. I know, either did I.
I'm sure I did, because, like, I've done papers
but it's not something they held on to.
Yeah.
Right, you know, and it's like, you know, we could read this all like 20 years ago and been like, no shit, Harriet Tubman, you know, but when it's represented to you again in a different form,
for sure,
it's like learning something new. Abolitionism helped inspire other reform movements as well. In 1848, frustrated by their treatment within the abolitionist movement, women gathered in Seneca Falls to hold the women's first women's rights convention.
Wow. That's cool.
Not far from the birthplace of Mormonism, several small intentional communities attempted to live according to the teachings of a French philosopher, Charles Fourier. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. And Fourier, who knows? Charles Fourier. That's what he's going to be.
Hey, there's Charles.
Yeah. Fourier proposed reorganizing society through communal living and shared labor. His followers envisioned radically different communities featuring gender equality, communal parenting, and complex marriage systems and shared economic production. And as I was reading this, I wanted to look up complex marriage system, but basically it means like more than one spouse or significant other.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Yeah. Communal parenting, of course, like everybody within the religion helps.
Yeah, it takes a village type shit.
Oh, yes. A system of free love where all women and men in a community are considered to be married to one another.
So that's what free love means.
Yeah.
Because you said that earlier, and I was literally just thinking hippie peace and love.
Right.
You know?
Well,
but,
I mean,
so
that
the
was
term,
kind of the way it was. I mean,
well, right, but there's a term, free love.
Right.
Then that's supposed to mean, like, polygamy. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Okay. But they didn't have to get married either, so it's just like...
Just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You just kind of have sex with whoever you're feeling you want to have sex with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure STDs
were
rampant during this fucking era.
But I will say, that sounds a lot more liberating than a cult leader that says, you can only have sex with me.
True, because he's always some pervy fucking creep that has like 20 wives and they're all like...
This is like...
Fucking... Barely.
Fuck whoever you want.
Teenagers. Yes. Fuck whoever you want. Yeah. That sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
So another radical religious movement emerged in 1848. Spiritualism.
Okay.
So now we're getting to the whole point of Lilly Dale here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history before that, which I guess I just didn't pay attention to, you know?
Yeah.
So 2 young girls, Maggie and Kate Fox, living in a tiny hamlet, thought you'd like that use of hamlet again, of Hydesdale, New York, began hearing mysterious knocking sounds in their home while trying to sleep. The girls soon claimed they could communicate with the source of the noises, a spirit that answered questions through coded knocks.
This is rapping, right? That's what they called it?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Although the Fox sisters did not become long-term leaders of the spiritual movement, their experience inspired thousands of others to attempt spirit communication. Spiritualism spread rapidly, emphasizing the idea that any individual could potentially communicate with the dead. Mm-hmm. Earlier religious divisions also influenced the movement's growth. In the 1820s, the Quakers split into 2 factions, the Hicksite Friends and the Orthodox Friends. I want to say the Hicksite Friends were the ones that Aleister Crowley's was, that went on to do the Order of the blah, blah, blah. Remember? Because one of them...
The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Yes, because one of them... sent him to school or something.
Yeah, wasn't it like his father's friend or something?
Yes, he was like a Hicksite. Yeah, I don't remember
that. Yes, that does sound very familiar. I think you're right on that.
Yeah,
and I guess I didn't realize though that there was like different factions of it.
Yeah,
crazy.
The division did not stabilize the Society of Friends. Instead, many Quakers formed smaller, reformed, organized groups, often linking their efforts to abolitionism and social reform causes. Mm-hmm. Amongst these reformers were Isaac and Amy Post, early supporters of the Fox sisters and proponent activists in Rochester. We did talk about them in the Morris Pratt episode.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the post name.
Yep. The Post sheltered fugitive slaves traveling along the Underground Railroad.
Great work.
Yep. They were friends of Frederick Douglass and played significant roles in the abolitionist movement. Amy Post was also an early feminist and attended the Seneca Falls Convention. Spiritualism did not develop into a rigidly structured religion, but it spread rapidly, particularly in the years following the Civil War.
Okay.
As the movement expanded, spiritualists thought new ways to gather. In cities, they held meetings and Sunday services, but they also revived an older American tradition, the religious camp meeting.
Okay.
Within a decade of the Fox sisters' revelations, spiritualists were drawing large crowds. A camp meeting in Waukegan, Illinois.
No way!
Yep. Attracted 2,000 attendees, and similar gatherings became increasingly common.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's super
It didn't
close.
tell me, like, the name of the gathering or anything, so
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to be able to search it more, but that's very interesting because it is so close.
Right.
And yes, we get things about, like, Cleveland and Chicago and Milwaukee, maybe, or Madison. Right. But Waukegan.
Yeah.
One of the earliest and most influential spiritualist camp meetings was held in 1866 at the Pierpoint Grove in Massachusetts. Not coincidentally, the event was organized by former Methodists who had converted to spiritualism. So that's another religion.
Yeah,
Methodists. Mm-hmm. 2 additional camps were founded in Massachusetts during the 1870s and served as models for what Lilly Dale would later become.
Okay.
Lake Pleasant was established by the Finchburg Railroad Company and was designed as a scenic vacation destination accessible by rail. In 1874, spiritualists held a 2-week camp meeting there, followed by what resembled a 19th century music festival.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like early Woodstock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another gathering place, Island Grove, founded in 1869, offered visitors dancing, boating, bowling, and other recreational activities.
That sounds like fun.
These camps blended entertainment, lectures, and spiritual exploration, attracting large numbers of visitors each summer.
Okay.
Spending time in rustic natural settings was not merely enjoyable, but 19th century Americans believed nature itself promoted physical and spiritual healing.
Wow.
Yep. It was within this cultural context that the Cassadaga Lake Free Association, a group of spiritualists from western New York, northern Pennsylvania, and eastern Ohio, organized the first camp meeting in New York in 1880. Earlier connections already existed in the regions in 1852. 2 early spiritualists, Oliver Chase and William Brittingham, claimed to have been directed by spirits to a local spring that was believed to possess healing waters.
Wow.
Yeah. By 1873, the spiritualists were holding camp meetings on the property of Willard Alden that we talked about. In New York, after Alden's death in 1978, disputes with his heirs prompted the creation of the Cassadaga Lake Free Association in 1879, which purchased land to establish a permanent gathering place and marked the tail end of this broader area of communal social experimentation. By 1879, the association bought 20 acres along Upper Cassadaga Lake. Traditional camp meetings had usually lasted anywhere from a single day to 2 weeks, with only a few summers. However, the Lilly Dale camp expanded to encompass like most of the summer.
Okay.
If you ever see, this is what I keep thinking about, Dirty Dancing. Dirty
Yeah.
Dancing,
Mhm.
they went away for the summer, right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
went to that resort that had dance lessons.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what I think of Lilly Dale.
Okay.
When
It's
I
funny
picture
that
it.
your mind went there because mine went Camp Crystal Lake.
Okay. I do like your spooky vibe in it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minus the murders, of course.
Right. Minus the murders. By 1887, Lilly Dale hosted talks and events daily between July 30th and September 4th. And by 1899, the season had expanded further, beginning in mid-July. In 1894, the Alden House Tavern was sold to the Lilly Dale community. Today it is known as the Leolin Inn and remains the only Lilly Dale property located outside the gates. So the original farm owner, when he passed away, his family got the land, and they were not very... Like, they didn't want the spiritualists to be on their land anymore.
Right.
They wanted to buy it, and they were like, no way. But eventually, they were able to buy the land from him, and that's how they were able to get the Alden House Tavern, which is now the Leolin.
Okay.
So by the camp's 10th anniversary in 1889, more than 100 cottages had been built on the grounds.
That's cool.
So that's a pretty interesting history, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So something else is like, they talk a lot about nature and the meeting place.
Yeah.
So in Lilly Dale, there's something called the stump.
Okay.
And I'm going to just tell you something quick about that.
Sure.
So the original stump at Lilly Dale is encased in cement. In the 1890s, it was leveled to make it easier for people to stand on. And then they cemented over it and then added steps in the 1930s. The stump is considered the most religiously significant site in Lilly Dale, as twice daily message services are held there.
Still today?
To this day.
Oh, wow, okay.
During these services, visitors gather together while mediums take turns delivering messages believed to come from the ether.
Aha!
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been waiting a long time to be able to say that to you.
The
But yeah,
ether.
the ether. Mm-hmm. Spiritualist leaders were often feminists and suffragettes who supported temperance and abolition of slavery and who reflected critically on the effects of industrialization and urbanization.
Mm-hmm.
However, despite those progressive ideals, early formal spiritualist organizations were not welcoming to black practitioners and ultimately became male-dominated.
Over time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is really unfortunate. But the part about, like, not being welcoming to African Americans is unfortunately not surprising.
No, it's not surprising.
Even
It fucking
for
sucks,
a
but
northern
it's not
state,
surprising. Right.
like,
no.
even
Even
the north,
for that era, no one was...
the abolitionists even still, and
You can
We
barely
can-
speak up as a woman.
yes, like we can debate about like ethics of it till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, especially before there was social media or learning things outside of your communities, that's just what people taught each other.
Yeah.
That's what we all taught our children, that black people were less, and
Yeah.
same with women,
Unfortunately.
you know.
Oh,
and
for sure.
so it's not surprising. It's very sad that it went that way.
Right. Yeah, but so I thought the history, I mean, I could not have gotten all that information if it wasn't for reading that book.
Yeah.
It was so detailed. Such a well-written book.
Yeah. I'm excited to check that out.
But yeah, there's plenty of chapters that we didn't talk about, like the Native American relations, the feminist correlation in it.
Which
like,
we definitely gotta do.
Oh, we're...
A feminism
And that's what I thought. When I originally was kind of like writing up my notes after reading, I was like, I wanted to, but I'm like, I think we ultimately could have like a 10-part series on feminism if we wanted to, right?
Yeah, like we could do a 10-part series called Why the World Needs a Matriarchy.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So we're glad that you were here and you listened, and we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. So, was this part one?
This is really just going to be Lilly Dale, and then maybe part one, and then part two, is going to be about the Fox sisters.
Okay.
And yes, it relates to Lilly Dale, but they got a whole bunch of tea on their own.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to say that when we did the Ouija board episode, you had started to uncover that there was some tea on them bitches.
Yeah.
And we, like, held off on talking about it so we could talk about it. Do a full episode on them.
Which, I don't want to spill too much tea right now, but one thing I will bring up is when I did the Ouija board episode, I just saw that it was two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And then then I found a really old article from 1922, and the title of this article is called The Mystery of the Three Fox Sisters.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's three of them.
Awesome. So I assume there's some bad blood there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Me too. I cannot wait for the Fox Sister episode. There's lots of scandal.
Yeah.
There's family drama. There's lies. Dude, it's like going to be like an episode of Maury.
Yeah, it's super salacious.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at hexhavenpodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on anything and everything you can find us on.
Yeah.
We would love it.
Yes, find us. We're everywhere now for the most part.
Yeah.
And then if you feel so inclined, check out our Patreon. You can get early access on there for just $1 a month. Or there is a second tier that we just recently changed and upgraded. So the second tier is now going to be for like people who want to support the show. You'll still get the early access. You'll also be contributing to research materials, the time that we take putting all this stuff together and all of that. Obviously, we love hearing from you guys, so reach out to us on anything.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Original theme music for Hexhaven Podcast has been written, recorded, and produced by Matt Shook.